Hello Warfighters, War is Hell. Welcome to the next episode of Arma 3 Recon, which is where I take a random mission out of the Arma 3 Steam Workshop. I play it and I rate it for you, so that way you guys know if this is a good mission to play or if it's one that you should avoid. So if you end up enjoying this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe here so that way you can see more of these videos and other ones that I do on this channel. And also follow me on the various social media stuff that you can see in the description below, and also Patreon. If you guys can help donate, please do. It helps out this channel a lot. So I haven't done one of these videos in a little bit, but once I saw this video or this particular mission pop up on the Arma 3 Steam Workshop, I'm like, yes, I have to do this. I know that there's a lot of missions and scenarios that I have downloaded already that I want to get to, but I had to do this one as quickly as I could. Now, I'll put a link to this mission in the description below, but this one is called Battle Royale Single-Player Experience, and I swear, the first time I saw this, it said PlayerUnknown's Battle Royale Single-Player Experience. I would not be surprised if that had to be changed for legal reasons, or they just asked politely to. But this is basically just like PlayerUnknown's Battle Royale or PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, if you're familiar with that. Those have a very deep history within Bohemia Interactive in the Arma community. PlayerUnknown's Battle Royale, which came out before PlayerUnknown's Battleground, is one of the most popular Arma 3 mods that have ever been created. And so for me, this is kind of cool to be able to see, because I'm like, I wonder how this is going to be in single-player mode. Now, you saw it just a little bit ago. There's various things once you start a mission like this that you can go ahead and alter to kind of customize how you're going to play this out. So you can choose the time of day that you're going to be playing. You can choose how many AI you're going to go up against, the weather, and also the difficulty of the AI. Now, the whole point of this, if you're unfamiliar, I'll kind of give you guys a brief rundown. It's a free-for-all type of scenario, kind of similar to the Hunger Games, where you have to try and survive. In this case right here, I don't. It's not that easy, but you try to survive to be the last person. If you are the last person alive, you end up winning. Scattered around the urban areas and inside buildings, you're going to find weapons crates. When you drop in, like you saw from that blackfish just a little bit ago, you're just in civilian clothing and a parachute. That's all that you have. So you have to go around and find these weapons crates that are in various buildings. Obviously, in urban areas is where you're going to find the most, and you need to find a vehicle. Two of the other things that you can go ahead and change and kind of explain why vehicles are pretty important here is you have different battle areas, which you do combat in, that shrinks as time progresses. One of the options that you have is to extend the amount of time between those transitions where the combat area gets smaller. If you find yourself outside of that combat area, you're going to end up taking damage and eventually be killed. And so getting a vehicle, unless you do the extended time, is absolutely important. Like the first time that I played, I wasn't able to get a vehicle. I ended up dying. But if you do like the extended time, I think it's like 6 minutes starting off. So you basically can run to the area that you need to go to. And then there's also, of course, fatigue as well. That's another big thing that you can go ahead and change to alter the experience. Because there's various weapons scattered around, the way you play is going to change quite a bit. Now, in addition, of course, to being able to get weapons and ammunition out of those boxes, I forgot to mention, and this just reminded me right here, you can also grab weapons and ammunition off of the AI that you kill. So, like for me right here, I'm going as AR this particular round, and he's got a lot of ammunition for me. So I should actually be set here for the rest of the mission. Now, one of the big things that's would really help determine whether or not you guys would enjoy this is how you feel about the AI. I'm going to go into this here just a little bit in depth. Arma 3 AI, if you're not familiar, can be pretty tricky. Sometimes it's absolutely OP, shooting at you through walls where there's no way anybody would be able to see you, and spotting you at times where it's impossible for you to see them. But also they can do some really stupid stuff. One of the clips I'm going to show you here in just a second is one of the AI who are just standing in a building, literally doing nothing. I guess it's kind of similar to finding an actual player who's AFK, but I saw it, I think, twice in this one round that I'm playing right here. And then also, too, is as that combat area that I was telling you about earlier shrinks, As I mentioned, if you're not within it, you take damage and you'll eventually die. As you go later on into the mission and the combat area gets smaller and smaller, and it's more important for you to be on the move, getting to where you need to be. There's a lot of times that I found that the AI was just not getting up and moving to where they needed to go. So, yeah, see, here's the person just standing there. Like I said, it's probably just like a human that's AFK, but still something to bring up. But as I was mentioning, is that combat area gets smaller, and it's important for you to be on the move, getting to where you need to go. The AI, if it's prone because it's taken fire or it spots somebody, is not going to make a big push to get to that area. So I really wish there was a way for me to be able to determine exactly how many players that were on here were actually killed by weapons fire and how many of them were actually outside of the combat area. I even saw this when I went ahead and did the extended time on this. But there's a number of different ways, though, that you can kind of make this game a little bit more difficult for you to kind of combat the AI. I personally enjoyed playing in this type of way because I'm the kind of person who, you know, I do a lot of multiplayer. You guys have probably seen the 183rd Air Assault Milsim videos that I do. You've probably seen the Odd Squad, which is a very, very casual type of multiplayer group. And sometimes I just want to play single player, which is part of the reason why I have the alternate history series that I make myself as, you know, just like mini campaigns. And then, you know, this particular series too. So it's good to be able to have like a little hybrid where I can just sit down and play this. I'm more of a fan of co-op gameplay and PvE than I am PvP. A lot of times the PvP that I play just hasn't been that fun because I'm a noob to a particular type of scenario or to a map or whatever it may be, and I'm always at a disadvantage. So with this, obviously, it's pretty even keel. You kind of know what you're going up against, and you don't have people like teaming up and stuff like that. But the thing is while that's not appealing to me, there's a lot of people out there who enjoy that type of stuff. And so I bring it up just because that may be something that detracts you from ending up playing this game. I ended up playing this a lot. I didn't find too many performance issues, though, as I played. The only time that I ever saw is when you choose the maximum amount of AI that you can have in this, which is 90. At the very beginning, I saw you know, my frame rate drop until a lot of those players ended up getting killed, which you can imagine that's pretty natural that you're going to find something like that in a scenario like this. So just something to kind of be on the lookout for. But other than that, this was a pretty smooth gameplay all around and a great mission too. So to kind of go into some more detail about this, I'm actually going to go ahead and hit the ratings for this mission. I'm not going to do the standard type of commentary for this because there were some rounds that I encountered a lot of AI. There were some where I encountered maybe 2 AI the entire time. And so these things can last quite a while too, which is why I'm showing you a bunch of clips. So I'm sorry if you guys are looking for the traditional type of commentary that I give rather than just an explanation and review this entire time. But hey, I enjoyed this. All right, so the ratings. Now, if this is your first time seeing something like this, I do a rating on 0 to 5 stars. So the first thing I'm going to do a rating on here is mission difficulty. And I'm going to go ahead and give that 4.5 out of 5 stars. As I mentioned, you can do a lot with setting the difficulty. One, by a setting that you do for the actual AI. I found that the most difficult thing to do too was most difficult AI at night in the rain. That forces you to like be looking for night vision goggles or something to help you see in the dark all the time, which was hands down the most challenging thing that I had to do. You can see like right here exactly how dark it is and why you need like night vision goggles. So the only thing that I would go ahead and knock this particular scenario for when it came to mission difficulty was actually 2 areas. One, in about 90% of the matches that I ended up playing, I found that I was able to discover everything that I needed within 3 crates. Sometimes even the first crate that I found had a weapon, sufficient ammunition, a vest with phenomenal armor, a helmet, silencer, everything that I would need. So if there was something to help diversify the equipment, I think that would do a lot. You know, there's a couple things that I thought of, such as doing further randomization of what you find in those crates. For example, you may find a weapon, but not the right ammunition for it at all, so you have to take a risk grabbing that ammunition or grabbing the gun. But then also, too, one of the things that I thought of is also limiting the amount of weapons crates that there are. Maybe that could be another solution too, like it's more difficult to find the stuff that you need. Maybe a combination of the two. Another thing that I found here where it could improve mission difficulty, I think, was once I fell or dropped into a city, I didn't have a problem getting to a vehicle. And so maybe making it a little bit of a larger focus for the AI to get those vehicles as well, making it a little bit more sparse, that may be a good thing too, in doing this to kind of add a little bit more of a challenge to this. But these things are easily fixed, so I didn't want to go ahead and hit it too hard, considering all the great things that you can do in this to adjust the difficulty. If you're not that great at Arma or you're new to it, that's fine. You've got a really easy setting that you can do. If you're, an advanced Arma player, you can also make it super difficult too. As far as scripting complexity goes, I'm going to go ahead and give this one 5 out of 5 stars. This is hands down one of the most difficult scenarios. At least that was the impression that I got to be able to put together. You have a lot of different things that are going on, such as the AI trying to get to the closest ammo crate, randomizing what you find in those ammo crates, randomizing so many different things, such as the direction that the blackfish is coming in on to have you drop into a particular area, as well as a number of other things. So seriously, the person who ended up making this particular mission, GTA Bonser, I think is what it is, mad props for putting this together. I can imagine this took a lot of work to be able to do. It showed, and I think it really paid off. So mad props, a full 5 stars right there. Replayability, another full 5 stars for this one. As I mentioned, there's very few games that'll or few scenarios that'll keep me playing as much as this one did. First sitting was like 5 hours, and then I've played it a few times since then for a number of hours. I've been recording everything that I've been doing, but still, it was a ton of fun. I think it's a pretty fair balance too, as far as how much you win, how much you lose, which I think goes great with replayability, because you feel like something is achievable, but not so much it's a gimme. So this was great. I mean, this is exactly the type of mission that I'm looking for sometimes, to kind of fill in the gaps. It's fast-paced. At times, it's strategic. Everything like that. So a great single-player scenario. 5 stars on replayability. Presentation, I'm going to go ahead and give this one 4 out of 5 stars. There's a lot of things that I did that I thought were pretty great about this. There were some things, though, that I think could improve the overall presentation of this as well. For example, if there was something at the beginning, maybe a short animation that would kind of add some more to the story, that might be a great thing to add to this. As well as potentially even going so far as to change the environment in which you fight in even further than you already do, such as like being able to change the map in which you fight on. Now, this could be done in a number of different ways. I don't think, because you couldn't do it in the actual mission, I don't think. You probably have to have a number of different missions available on Steam, such as Battle Royale, single-player experience, Malden, Altus. Stratus would be a really interesting one because you're super close combat there. So those types of things I think could help enhance the presentation for this by doing those things. But overall, I mean, it was pretty good. So 4 out of 5 stars there. Overall, the overall rating I'm going to give for this is the full 5 stars. This is the second time that I have ever done this. The only time I ever did this before was on Blitzkrieg, which is another type of single player type of mission that changes quite a bit. So you can see the type of scenarios that I enjoy the most. But I think this needs to be in every single person's, or they need to be subscribed to this, especially those who are more about the single player experience and not so much multiplayer, because this gives you, as I mentioned, a good balance between the two. It's competitive, but it's not PvP if you're kind of like me and not a huge fan of that. So I highly recommend this mission. As I mentioned a number of times, you probably knew that they were going to be getting the full 5 stars from the very beginning because of my excitement for this, and it definitely lived up to the hype that I was kind of expecting out of this mission. So make sure you subscribe to this particular mission. Subscribe to this channel too. As I mentioned it at the beginning, we've got a lot of great content on this channel. Like the video if you enjoyed what you find, and also comment below. Tell me what you liked about this mission, or if there's something on here that I may have missed that you would want other people to know about. War is hell. You don't have to worry, because warfighters, I've got your 6.